Hey, hello, I'm JulieJo. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today we're looking at someone who I've covered before. I am currently not live, laugh, love, lesbianing very well. Life is kicking me in the balls, if you're curious. So I thought we'd go back to a nice little thing I like to call an MLM Bossbabe reaction. And today's that day, and I'm very excited because this is one of my least favorite boss babes. Favorite, least favorite, however you want to say it. Ashley Mayfield is a very religious person who is a top leader in a multi-level marketing company. Her husband is actually a pastor, and she loves that, and that's great for them. Good for them. As someone who's a ex-Christian with a master's in theology, I know those kind of people, okay? Especially when they're a boss babe. I think it adds another layer as well to her integrity, being the wife of a pastor. I understand why she's made it to the top of an MLM, or like, I don't know, close to the top, whatever, because it does add another level of what people would say integrity. We might not think that, but when you are religious, people who are seen as leaders of the church tend to be seen as people that are easier to trust, people that are more holy or more educated, and at times they are more educated, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have more integrity. Ultimately, I think people are way too trusting of leaders of the church. We've obviously had in this world several leaders of the church turn out to be terrible people. So yeah, let's rethink that instant trust and respect for leaders of the church a little bit. Maybe let them prove it. I don't know, like every other human being, right? Anyway, this is called Business Tips for Launching April Strong. Are you ready for a good old reaction? Because I am, for sure. Bear with me. Like I said, I'm not live, laugh, love, lesbianing. I'm not even a lesbian. But I am gay and queer. So do with that what you will. By the way, my big video's coming. It's just significantly longer than I anticipated it being, and I'm still putting final touches on the script. So be patient with me. Thank you so much. I think I'm gonna 1.25 this, okay? We need to go. All right, let's watch.
Hey everybody, what is up? Ashley Mayfield here. It has been the longest time, but I am back today, and I want to talk about starting April strong. Maybe you show up every single month and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't have a clear plan. And then you take like 5 days to figure it out. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need to do that. I want to drop my 5 business tips that's going to help you be successful in the month of April. So as you're hopping on, make sure you say hello. And if you're watching the replay, you can hashtag HeySnackHey. And I'm excited about this. I actually shared these tips with my team last night. We did a leadership training. That felt really moist. We did a leadership training, and so I wanted to come and share these with you. And what's super cool is almost every single month you can take these tips and really tweak them, but they're going to help you. I don't know how your March ended. Maybe you ended on a fantastic March, which is incredible. I know our organization had an incredible March. I just heard that March was the highest sales ever in the history of my company, which is so exciting. April 1st, not an April Fool's joke, was the high.
What company is she in? JJ, you should know this, JJ. What are you doing? Bravenly. Yeah. Bravenly. Wow. Nice, Ashley. Good choice. Wow. All right. Bravenly. That's whatever floats your boat.
Highest sales to ever launch a month in company history. So maybe you had a great March, and maybe you're not even in my company. That's okay too. I promise I keep this business neutral. So if you do find value, feel free to tag, feel free to share. But I want to give you 5 tips that are going to help set you up for success. If March didn't go the way you want, if you didn't reach your goal, if you didn't cross the finish line, maybe you just had life happen to you. Drop a me below. I want you to know that that is okay and that is normal. But what's not normal is that you self-deprecate. What's not normal is that you punish yourself. And what's not normal is that you stay there. It's important that you...
For some reason, when I heard her say self-deprecate, it definitely translated in my mind to self-deprecate. And so for a moment, I don't know if you saw my face, and I don't even know if I made a face, but for a moment I was like, oh, anyway. That is not what she said, but that is definitely what my mind heard. Not what she said, JJ, okay? For a moment, I had a, whoa. Anyway.
Get back up, amen. It's important that you get your horse back ready, you get on the saddle, and we start taking action. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing that you need, and let me just tell you this, in case you're like, it's already the 3rd. Did you know, if you look at the calendar, that the month, I always start with the end of the month and work backwards, that Thursdays end the week. So technically today is week 1, day 1. So maybe you have not gotten your together on the 1st and the 2nd. I'm here to report live, my friend, boots on the ground journalism, that you are safe, okay? Today starts day one, week one. And so the first week of April is going to end on the 9th, which is next Thursday. The next week on the 16th, the third week on the 23rd, and then the month ends on the 30th. So you are good to go. You're A-okay, okay? So let's dive in. The first thing that you need in order to have a successful April is you need to know what your goal is April 30th. And I know that sounds like rocket science, but you would be shocked how many people don't do that. How many people do not have clarity on exactly what it is that they want. They show up to an online business saying, well, more money is better than anything. And then they don't do anything and they get $17 in their paycheck and now they're pissed off. And so having clarity, and I'm going to take it a step further.
Did she say know your goal April 30th for April 1st? Does she mean March? I'm confused.
Not just knowing what rank you want, knowing what income you want, and knowing what that income is going towards. Creating that emotional attachment means that you have a higher probability of actually crossing your finish line. How many of you have ever crossed your finish line? Drop a 2 below if this is you. You ever crossed your finish line and you were like starving for it. You were salivating for it. You were like, come hell or high water, I'm getting this thing. Maybe it was a title. Maybe it was an income. Maybe it was a ceiling you were shattering. Maybe you were fighting for someone else in your organization, but you knew you woke the beast up in you. Okay, drop a 2 below. You knew you were ready.
Drop a deuce, drop a 2. I love when they say drop a 2.
To run through a brick wall. Why? Because you had clarity on your goal. Because you found out, wait, I'm closer than I thought. I'm closer than I realized. And you did whatever it took. And guess what? You did it. And I'm here.
What frustrates me about this idea of having a goal and you doing it is when the odds are stacked against you in the way that they are in multi-level marketing, they tend to act like if you don't succeed that month and hit your goal, you didn't have clarity in your goal. But a lot of people do have clarity in their goal. From what I've gathered when I was in MLM, they just aren't able to hit it. They just can't a lot of times hit that goal. The odds are stacked against them. The Federal Trade Commission says the majority of people in MLMs will not profit. And a lot of those people will actually lose money. There are links below that you can go to where you can see where I got this from. So the Federal Trade Commission about MLMs are below, as well as some other resources that I really like. So feel free to take a look at that. But yeah, this idea that it will just get done, it'll just happen if you have clarity, not true, and really deceptive, and does a lot of harm to the human psyche. It makes them think like there's no way. It makes them think like, okay, I have a clear goal, I'm gonna hit it. If I have a clear goal, I'm gonna hit it. Like if I have a clear goal, I know what I'm doing, I do it, I'm gonna hit it. But that's just not always true. And when you don't, it is devastating because then a lot of times they tend to throw it back onto you. Well, you just didn't have a clear enough goal. But in fact, it's that the odds are so stacked against people. Doesn't matter how clear your goal is.
I'm here to tell you that level of urgency, that level of hunger, that level of that dog in you, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to have that just on the 25th of the month.
Didn't like that. I don't know. Did you like that? I didn't.
You don't have to wait until the 20th of the month to turn your business on. You don't have to wait till the 17th, my friend. You don't have to wait till the 11th. You don't have to wait till prelims drop on the 5th, in my company specifically. You can make the decision now. It's April 3rd, day 1, week 1 of the entire month, and I'm going to go all in. And you do that when you have an emotional attachment to the goal. You don't do that by just saying, I want to hit this rank. I want to hit this rank. Okay? You need an emotional attachment. And so what's that thing that you want the money to go towards? Is it that your kid, like you want to finally put your child in an extracurricular and so you need an extra $500? Is it that you want to be able to pay your car note? And I only started calling it a car note when I got into network marketing.
Okay, so I understand this idea of having emotional attachment to a goal, but also why would you force yourself to have an emotional attachment to a goal when the thing that you're going for is just not likely going to happen? You're setting people up for failure when you aren't being honest about the likelihood of them actually hitting it. I've talked about Bravenly's 2025 income disclosure before, but it's just a little odd. So there's an affiliate at the bottom, an affiliate rank, but it's just when people are only selling product and not actually building a team. This is actually only 60% of the company that is in this ranking because that's how much earned a penny or more. So 40% of the company did not earn anything. Just to start that off, any number I'm talking about is only the 60% of the company that earned a penny or more. So the affiliate is, like I said, people who do not build a team. That's 2.9% of the brand partners. The monthly median is $27. The independent brand partner, bottom rank, 38.46% of the company, and the monthly median is $24.60. Senior brand partner, 14.82%, and the median is $64 for the month. This also doesn't include any taxes or any product purchased. The executive brand partner, which is 19.93%, has a monthly median of only $174.48 a month. That's the highest median of over 70% of the company. Very likely, the majority of the 60% making any money aren't profiting. They aren't profiting. That is a terrible opportunity. However, Ashley Mayfield will never say that.
I feel like that's such like boomer language, but this is what the industry does to you, okay? Maybe it's because I'm 41 now, I don't know. But maybe you need $1,000 because you want to pay your car payment and your car insurance. And you're like, babe, I got it this month. And so you're fighting for that. Maybe you have a credit card that's, $478.29 and you want to pay that off. So you want $500. If your company is anything like mine, there's like 20 different ways you can kill the cat, skin the cat, whatever that, don't kill the cats. PETA's going to come after me. But you guys know what I'm saying, okay? Drop a cat emoji below. I love the cats, okay? But you need to know your goal. You need to have clarity on it. And when it's in front of you every single day, there's a reason my vision board is over the mountain of pillows and on the wall. Okay, if I lifted it up, there you go. There's my vision board right there. Okay, there's a reason it's right there because I want to be focused on it. I want it in front of me. And no, those aren't my month-end goals. Okay, but those are my overarching goals. But you can't have overarching goals until you have the urgency of having a month goal, right? Because when you learn to achieve month after month after month the thing that you want, then you can go for the big things. You see, I think sometimes it's a little bit of both. It's somewhere in the middle. You're going to have mindset and motivational and leadership gurus that are like, play big. I think about Grant Cardone. He's like, think big, play big. It should compel you to move. And I hear you. However, there is a subset group of people that kills you because it's not close enough for you to have urgency. You're like dreaming about the mansion and you won't even go pay your bill on time. You're dreaming about the mansion and you won't even fold your laundry when it's out of the dryer, my God. Okay? And so some of you need...
Hey. Sometimes I don't have the energy, nor do I want to fold it. It's clean. I'll just pull it out of the basket. Don't judge me. Jeez Louise. Anyway, her energy is similar to a lot of those boss babes that I have seen be in a place of likely desperation. Maybe things aren't going as well as they want. It's a bit desperate, and I can imagine, one, being in Bravenly, and two, being in MLM in general, why you would be. Things are not going well for MLM, especially probably ones like Bravenly. Even though recently you had the highest whatever, Bravenly, I think, is a newer one compared to ones like Mon8, or at least I haven't heard of it as much. To reiterate, this is giving desperation. I can't imagine that things are thriving. Let me put it that way. So I feel like her goal is to make you feel like your ass is on fire. And the only way to put it out is to work towards this goal, hit it. And then you don't. And it's like, well, maybe it wasn't clear enough. It's like, well, no, that's how most level marketing works. However, you made her a ton of money by work. So yeah, she wants your ass on fire. And for you to think the only way to put it out is by making her money. Without saying that, of course.
And this is why you need to know yourself, because some of you can dream big and push yourself. Some of you aren't wired that way. And that's okay. There's no right and there's no wrong. It's effective versus not effective. And you need to set yourself up for success. Amen. If you need to do that a little bit more, drop a 3 below. Like, hey, maybe I do need to set myself up for success. Maybe I do need to understand. And so some of you don't need a month long. Some of y'all are the type of people that you go on vacation and it takes you a month to unpack your suitcase. Okay. Guilty as charged. I used to be that person. I'm not that way anymore, but guilty as charged, okay? And it's because if you give yourself a month to do it, you're going to wait until the last minute. And it's not because you're lazy and you call yourself a procrastinator, and it's not that. It's that what motivates you is when there is pressure. What motivates you best is when your back is against the wall. How many of you would say, that's me? Just drop the word back in there so I know. Hey, Brittany, how are you? Hey, Melissa. You work best when your back, hey, Haley, I see you too. You work best when your back's against the wall. And so when you know, cause that's me, I was like, wait, why do I only work when there's catastrophe? Why do I only show up? This was me 9 years ago asking this. Why do I only show up when it's devastating? Why do I only show up when life has hit me in the face?
I mean, if that's your experience, I would recommend therapy. I'm still in it and will be in it for maybe my whole life. I recommend maybe not taking her advice so much as a professional's advice. Yeah, if that's something that you struggle with, don't listen to her. I would go to a professional.
Why is it only when it's urgency? Do you know high achievers? They've learned that that's how they're wired. That's how they're motivated. And so
high achievers, procrastination? No, honey, that's trauma. High achievers.
They've learned to stop waiting for life to force them, and they learn how to force themselves. Food for thought. Okay, that's a whole nother podcast if you want that, or podcast. I am coming out with podcasts again. But that's all over Facebook Live. So if you want that, you just drop the word urgency below. Maybe I'll do a Facebook Live on that. But
shall we cover her podcast? I'm so excited. Ugh, I love covering podcasts, but sometimes I feel like sometimes it can be really boring unless there's certain people. And then I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, brother. All right, let's continue.
So the way that you do that is by knowing your goal. That's how you create that urgency. You don't have to wait until the 30th of the month and the dust has cleared and you're like, oh, I'm so close. You can actually start the month now and make progress every single day. And you'd be shocked. Like, you don't have to be exhausted at month end, which brings me to my next point. When you have that goal that you know you want, let's go back to the car payment and the car note. You need $1,000, okay? And so now you need to know, well, what rank do I need to be? What level do I need to be in order to achieve that? Now, in lots of different companies, there's lots of different ways that you can make money between like weekly bonuses, commissions, all of that. So I'm not going to break that down. But when I think about ranks, let's say you want to hit the 1,000 volume rank. Okay. So if you know that your goal on April 30th is to hit 1,000 volume in rank, you just divide that by 4, which pull out that calculator if you need. Talking to you, Bailey. Just kidding, Fred. I'm just kidding. And that would be...
And Bailey, calling you out.
A week of 250 volume. So today, if today is day 1, week 1, and we know week 1 ends on April 9th, week 2 ends on April 16th, week 3 ends on the 23rd, week 4 ends on the 30th, we know that from today, now if you did anything on the 1st or the 2nd, kudos, because that already got you volume towards it. But today through the 9th, you want to end next Thursday night at 250 volume. And so those are mile markers. Does that make sense? Drop a yes in the chat. And so those are mile markers for you to be held accountable to. Now, if you wake up on the 10th and your volume is at 159 and you knew your goal was supposed to be 250, that should light a fire under your butt.
I told you she wants your ass on fire, did I not? I knew she wanted your ass on fire. Haha. Sorry to say I told you so. You probably don't deserve it. You probably believe me, but that was fun. I'm just glad that she admitted it.
And if it doesn't, then that's a you problem, okay? Then you need to ask yourself, am I being lazy? Am I leaned in? Am I doing the work? Blah, blah, blah. There's like a little subset of questions you can ask. However, let's say you're tracking that. You've broken your big goal down into 4 weeks, and now you wake up on the 10th, which is day 1 of week 2, and you were supposed to be at 250 volume, but baby, you have 450? Don't you think you're going to be excited? Don't you think you...
If you're curious what she said, she did say baby heifer, for the record.
You're like, let's go. Let me see if I can get to that halfway point. How quick can I do it? Maybe I can do it before the 16th, right? And so it's going to motivate you. And so this is why when you break that big goal down into bite-sized pieces, you're allowing that urgency to go from a bigger level to a more tangible level. We're breaking that goal down into bite-sized pieces. Now, this isn't, we don't self-deprecate. So if you wake up on the 10th and you are at 159 instead of 250, we're not self-deprecating. We're not beating ourselves up. We're saying, oh, uh-oh, I need to get moving. Uh-oh, I'm not having more conversation or not having enough conversations. Uh-oh, I'm not talking to enough people. That's it.
Why did she like infantilize that? I think that is so fucking uncomfortable. It's like, uh-oh, ba 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 ba. I'm like, is it just me? Am I the only one uncomfortable by the idea of her like, uh-oh, da 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 da. What? I don't know. Maybe it is just me, but I don't like that.
That's all we're doing, right? And we're going to start taking action in that. But you need to break it down so you have some mile markers. So you know if you want to hit the 2,500 volume rank by the 30th of the month, then every week you need to end the 9th approximately at 625, then the 16th at 1250, and then the 23rd at whatever 625 plus 1250 is. You get what I'm saying, okay? Rinse and repeat. If you know that you want to hit the 400 volume rank, okay? It's 100 volume a week, okay? This is so simple, right? And so being able to break it.
It's simple to say it, but when you look at data, statistics, the truth, reality, it's not that simple. All of this shit is working against you. The core, excuse me, of MLM is for 1% at most to really bring in that money. That's the goal. That's the thing. Therefore, the other 99, they don't get that. And remember, only 1% can fit into 1%. And oftentimes it's significantly less than 1% that are actually making enough money to live on. I'm not even saying that are millionaires. I'm saying that are just making enough to live on. That's just the facts with multi-level marketing. And everyone, like Ashley Mayfield, refuses to talk about it. So I have to, and I'm more than happy to. But it gets frustrating sometimes when people sit here, like Ashley Mayfield, and act like it's an easy thing. 100 a week, 100 a week. It's not easy. It's not, been there, done that. It's not easy. And I even did well in the multi-level marketing company. It's not easy. Acting like it is just so deceptive.
Down into bite size. It just makes it more tangible, and it allows you to keep your focus a little bit better, right? It's kind of like you get the game plan and then you're running all week and then you catch your breath, you get the next week's game plan. So I think high achievers are constantly looking at the data and pivoting, looking at the data and readjusting.
This phrase, high achievers, makes me want to scream into a pillow. High achievers. What? I'm going to process that phrase a little bit more, and I'll have more to say later on.
And I think that's important, which brings me to my third point, which is managing. If you want to have a successful April, you need to know the goal, the March 30th goal. You need to break it down by weeks. What do you need at the end of each of the Thursdays? And then you need to manage your time, energy, and focus. Because here's the deal, as women and men, as high achievers, we think we can do all things at all times, and that is not true. People who say that are typically like not relatable. You can have everything you want in life. That's not true. You cannot have all things. And if you can, you cannot have them all at the same time. No one is good enough to be the perfect wife, perfect mom, perfect business owner, perfect whatever other hat you wear, right? Things come in ebbs and flows. And so every time you're saying yes to things that don't move you closer towards that goal, you're saying no to your goal. And so it's so crucial that you have self-management. You are limited on time and you are limited on your energy. Those are two things that can cause burnout. You're wasting time on stuff that really isn't bringing value. It's really not fulfilling. It's really not moving the needle forward. But also, you're wasting energy on things that just don't matter. That is a recipe for burnout, okay? And let me tell you what, burnout is a dangerous place to be. You're doing a lot of the things that aren't getting you the result you want. And so this is why, going back to point number one, when you are locked and loaded on a goal that you know you want, that should be your focus. Is this bringing me closer to my goal, or is it taking me away? Is this going to fuel me towards my goal, or is it taking me away? And so when you're managing what you do with your time, how you spend your time, when you manage your energy levels, if you want to have a successful business, but you're constantly laying around in pajamas, you're constantly sitting your butt on the couch, you're constantly just laying in bed watching TV, that probably does not align with the version of yourself you're trying to create. And I'm not always trying to bust the chops on people who I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking a day and don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm talking about that's how you live. You live your life from a place of lazy, constantly relaxed.
Okay, the concept of laziness is, excuse me, I'm going to be a little woke for a second. It's a construct of capitalism to keep you working. If there's a reason that you're being quote unquote lazy, there's a reason. It's not just because you're quote unquote lazy. No, ew, bad vibes, ew. I feel like today I might not be as great with my words as normal because of all the stuff I've got going on, but I know one thing for sure. Guilt and shame are the name of the game in multi-level marketing. So if they can make you feel either of those, they're going to snatch you up.
We got to lower that goal then, because who you are doesn't align with what it takes to go where you want, right? And so we have to manage how we operate and move ourselves. And that's something only you have control over. When you're overwhelmed because you have too much going on in your life, that's a you problem. When you're overwhelmed because you're constantly drained, that's a you problem. When you're overwhelmed because you feel constantly distracted, that's a you problem. It really is, because if you're allowing chaos to constantly be in your world, to constantly be in your house, to be in your relationships, you're absorbing that. The fourth thing I want to say is having daily tasks. This seems like a no-brainer, but how many of you have ever showed up to your business and you're like, you have time, but you're like, but I don't know what to do? Drop a 5 below. I don't even know what number I'm on. Drop a 5 below. You're like, wait, I know there's been a point in time in my business where I did. I was like, wait, what do I do first? What do I do? This is why creating or having a checklist that you do every single day, non-negotiable. And so it eliminates the thinking. And maybe that's the point. How many of you, if you have to think about it, you're out. If I have to think, and this is why I would, when I'm ready to, I would rather hire a trainer than just go to the gym, because I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to put in work, but I'm probably not going to get the results I want because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about what my form is supposed to look like. I don't want to think about the names of the machines. It's just not how I'm wired. My brain has to focus on too many other things. So I would rather pay somebody to tell me what to do and how often to do it, and I will do it. I'm a very hard worker. And so some of you, you're like, Ashley, I love going to the gym and I love learning about that stuff, but when it comes to this business, I'm just not focused. You just need a set of tasks that you do every single day. You just need to show up and not have to think about it, okay? That's why, like, I don't enjoy cooking, because I have to think. I have to think about what to buy. I have to think about how to cook it.
I don't like this concept of someone being a very hard worker as like them being a superior human being. Just because someone is a harder worker or a very hard worker does not make them superior to someone who is not as hard of a worker. And I feel like in MLMs, that is something that is pushed to anyone who's a part of an MLM. The harder you work, the more superior of a being you are, of a human being. And that view, that outlook on humanity I think that is just a really unhealthy outlook.
I have to think about the order of stuff. I have to think about measurements. I don't want to think, okay? My brain wants to think about other things. And so I'm not the chef in the family, okay? My poor husband, but he loves it. I asked him one time, I was like, are you sad that you have a wife that doesn't cook for you? He's like, I'm actually very satisfied. So he's from Alabama. Can you tell he don't want me touching none of this food, okay? And so, but when you have daily tasks, you just show up, you can make it happen. You set yourself up for success easier. It's kind of like when you do want to start going to the gym, and I'm talking a lot about the gym because maybe I need to start going again, but when you set your clothes out the night before, you have your shoes ready, you eliminate the excuses, showing up to your business with a set of tasks that you don't have to think, you can just execute. Because for me, sometimes stopping to think or process feels like I'm slamming on the brakes. I live in a go, 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 go world. How many of you do? Drop a me below. Like, it's just, I'm go, 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 go all the time. And I love it. I'm not complaining. However, sometimes when I have to stop to think, I feel like I get whiplash. I don't like that feeling. And will there be moments where that feeling happens? Yes, but you don't want it in your business. You don't want it when you're trying to change the trajectory of your family's life. You don't want it when you're trying to supplement your income or do more for your family or be the yes mom or have your husband stop working so much, or you want to actually freaking pay off all your debt. You don't want to slam the brakes on it. So if you know what you're supposed to do prior to showing up, stop trying to recreate the recipe every single time. My friend, the recipe is on the back of the box. Just show up, do the tasks every single time. That's it. You can perfect them once you've created consistency.
Something else. The idea that every human functions the same way with tasks. Come on now. Ridiculous. What about autistic people? What about people with ADHD? What about people who have a chronic illness or chronic pain? What about someone who is better with visual? What about someone who's more of a kinesthetic learner, hands-on, wants to do that? People do things differently. Just because you're giving them this advice and it's the way that you thrive does not mean that's the way that everyone's going to be able to do it. That is such an old stereotype that, like, just because you're successful means people are going to do that and everyone can do that and be successful as well. Not true. It's just not true.
Okay? But stop trying to perfect something you're not even consistent in. That doesn't even make sense. Okay? So my last and final point is you need to take massive action. It's going to cost you more than you think. It's going to take longer than you think. It's going to be harder than you think. But my God, when you cross that finish line, the taste of victory feels better than you ever imagined. The way you feel proud of yourself, you feel accomplished, you feel unstoppable. Now that feeling is fleeting, I swear. It like whooshes in and whooshes out, but it's real and it's there, okay? But I'm telling you, if you're someone that you're like, how many of you actually want to make like $2,000 in the business? Just drop 2,000. How many of you want to make 5,000? Drop 5,000. How many of you want to make 5 figures? Drop 5 figures, okay? And I know, I've done it. I can lead you up to a $48,000 month. That's the highest I've ever had, okay? 50,000, I'm not good enough for that yet, but I'm going to be. I'm going to get it with Bravenly, amen? But yes, I know what it's like to make consistent 5 figures every single month. And it takes massive action. And if you're someone that thinks that you can just show up online and make 1 post a week and you're going to, I'm going to go and hit 2,500 volume. I'm going to hit 5,000 volume. No, you're not. You're absolutely not. Are you freaking kidding me? That is ridiculous sounding. You think you can have 1 sip and sample a month and you think you're going to climb to the top of the company? Baby, you can't do a little and sit at the table with people who do a lot. That's not how that works. You can't invest a little and sit with heavy hitters. That's not how that works. Okay? And so you have to take massive action. And I was talking to
I find it shocking that people think it's okay to talk to other people that way. Grown-ass adults talking to other grown-ass adults that way, just the way that she spoke on this video, that's not okay. What the hell? Okay? See, this superiority complex is showing up. She, because she's done 5 figures or whatever a month or done big numbers in MLM, feels as though she can talk to people in this manner because of what she's done before. No one should talk to anyone in that manner. I mean, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. It happens, but she's so comfortable with this. It's not okay.
Her about this a couple weeks ago, and literally she was telling me the same thing, like, hey, people either have to do this or have to do this. And I don't know if you want the real raw answer, but the real answer is if you value in person and you're like, I love building in person, cool, you need to do 2 to 3 in-person things a week. Yeah, a week. I'm not talking about max in a room with 25 people. I'm talking about the onesie twosies. I'm talking about the twosie threesies. And then from there, you do more, right? And it kind of like spider webs out. And if you want to build on social, you're like, ew, I'd rather eat a hot dog, okay, than do in person. And I'm gonna tell you, that's me. I would rather eat a flaming hot dog than go do onesie twosies, sip in samples. It's just not, for me, it's not what I want. So then you better freaking double down on social media. And on my climb 9.5 years ago in my first company, that's what I had to do. I had to message 10, 20, 30 people a day. And I'm not talking about cold messaging because I don't do that. I'm not like, hey girl, you're so cute. I just started following you. I don't do that. But the people.
You're telling me you've never sent a cold message before? I don't fucking believe you. You've been doing MLM for 9.5 years and you've never sent a cold message. Liar. I know you're lying. I know you're lying.
People I knew, the people I was friends with, the people, yes, I had to go contact them. I had to say, hey, would you be open? Hey, would you be interested? Yeah, I had to do that. You guys, you have to go to people. You have to take action. And you want to know how you can do that? And you, like, because I know some of you are like, but how do you do that? Because I feel weird or I feel gross or I feel uncomfortable doing these things. Because the ones who have their goal, the ones who really have that emotional attachment, my first point, it's cyclical. It all cycles back. The ones who take massive action have the most clarity on their goal. I promise you, when you know that you can actually pay off your debt with network marketing. And I know because April 13th, 8 years ago, it was Friday the 13th, we went completely 100% debt-free. How? Because of network marketing. We paid off $63,801.99 in debt in a 6-month period. 50% of that was credit cards. 50% of that was student loans. I had a student loan in collections. My husband had no idea about. Because I just ripped them envelopes up and throw them away, baby. If I didn't see it, you didn't either. Okay? That's not smart. That wasn't good, okay? But that's who I was 8 years ago. I was like, okay, can I just say I'm pregnant for like the 17th time and I can get out of this? Okay, don't judge me because I know y'all be doing that too. You're like, I think I'm sick. I need to defer this. But we did it and we paid off our debt. When you have clarity that like you can actually take a family vacation if you wanted to, when you have clarity that your husband doesn't have to work 60 to 80 hours a week, that you can have enough income, when you have clarity that you can put your kids in the private school instead of the public school, when you have clarity that you don't have to work that dead end job that you hate, that you're not going anywhere in.
They won't have clarity until you show the full picture, and the full picture includes the income disclosure statement, which proves that the majority of people will not make any money at all. So clarity includes all information, not just the info you want to put out, Ashley.
Because network marketing can make you like 10x that. When you have clarity that yes, you can say yes to your kids, you can go to Target and toy shop and birthday shop and Christmas shop, and it does not have to be stressful. When you have clarity, you do not have to live for adult Christmas, which is income tax time every single year, that you can actually have that amount of money every single month. When you have clarity, you're willing to take massive action. And so if some of you are like, why can I just not get myself to do it? Why do I allow the irrational thoughts to win? Why do I allow, my environment to dictate my actions? Do you have clarity on your goal? That is the determining factor. When you are crystal clear, when you are breathing, eating, sleeping, I'm paying off debt, I'm handling this bill, we're getting this car paid off, we're going to put our kid in sports. When you are breathe, eating, sleeping it, and when you become obsessed, and I'm not talking about it runs your world, I'm not talking about it becomes your idol, don't misinterpret what I'm saying, but yeah, you'll hear any successful person say you have to become obsessed for a long period of time, and that is what causes the life change. And I can tell you, as someone who has walked through it, number one, glory be to God. Praise God that He opened this door for me and put me in this vehicle, because I don't know who I discovered myself. I don't know who I would be or where I would be if it wasn't for network marketing, and so I'm so grateful for it. But you have to know without a shadow of a doubt that you like what it is that you want, because it does something in you. It compels you to move when you're emotionally attached. So those are my 5 tips. You need to know your April 30th goal. You need to break it down weekly. You need to manage your time, energy, and your focus. You need to do your daily tasks and know what they are, that way you're not showing up stumped every time you show up. And then you need to take massive action. I promise you, this is what's going to set your April up for success. So I love you. I'm rooting for you. If you found any value, tag a friend, and we'll talk soon. I gotta go eat some crawfish now.
That was really fast in 1.25. So I know that was quick. I should have probably slowed it down. It's fine. It's already done. That shit was quick at 1.0 speed, okay? Wow, that energy was something. What y'all think? I love a good MLM Boss Babe reaction when I'm feeling down. You know, I love a good, Ashley Mayfield's a great one. There's several ones that I enjoy covering, but she's pretty consistent with this. So it's a nice little distraction. Thank you so much for being here and supporting this channel and enjoying my videos. That means a lot to me. If you do enjoy it and you want to see more, you can hit the subscribe button. You can hit the like button on this video. Feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts and really anything. Don't go to her stuff. If you want to comment about it, just comment below. Again, I appreciate you being here. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about yours.